Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Locker Room Sports Show. I am your host, Mike Laura, along with my co-host, Joey Martin. Of course, James Scores are producing. Uh, guys, we got a lot to dive into tonight. Uh, kind of a big game coming up here over the weekend, right?
Sure. Just a bit.
Just a bit, right? So, little trash talking. Uh, but listen, man. You know, our winter teams kind of have been looking good over the last couple days. Flyers took an L Tuesday night to the Carolina Hurricanes. Sixers last night lose 124-121 to Pelicans. But no Joel Embiid, that's kind of given, I guess you would say. Oh, I'm sorry, 124-114. So they lose by 10. You know, if Joel plays, he gets it. Uh, there's Pop Scores are checking in, saying make sure he checks out the Locker Room Sports Show. So, Joe, we're going to kick it off with this game last night, and James, the Sixers. Again, no Embiid last night. They fought by 10. Um, what were your thoughts, Joe? I'll go to you first. What was your thoughts
Yeah.
on the game last night?
Yeah. I mean, look, you had CJ McCollum coming back from a collapse lung. So there's definite, morale boost in the stadium that night. Uh, it's what I expected, and you know what? I don't think it's an accident that 2 games that Joel has have been 2 road games. I think it's in his best interest to sometimes take those to be told, stay back, treatment, and they don't have to disclose it. I get it. We're talking about load management, but for this guy, if he can be fresh, I mean, he's already showing how great of a player he is. If you get this guy as fresh as a daisy closer to the end of the season, and you still have that caliber of a player available to you at the end of that season, it's going to be a dangerous combination. And I like, a lot of the pieces. Nick Nurse is getting the best and straining the best out of the pieces that he have. Marcus Morris Sr., Nico Batum, Pat Bev. I think he's straining best out of those guys in Embiid's absence.
Yeah, you know what? I also like, hey, guys, there's Mitch checking in. Guys, make sure you check out Mitch. Following us tonight, Fly Like an Eagle podcast with Mitch. You follow us right at 7 o'clock, right after us. So, guys, make sure you do that. Oh, by the way, tonight, guys, the season finale for Attacking the Third. Tonight, unfortunately, our boys, Pierre would say, our boys in blue didn't win their playoff match this past week. So, again, Attacking the Third tonight. We'll be following them at 9 o'clock. So, again, make sure you stay tuned for those guys.
Yep.
Getting back to the game last night, as I'm looking over the stats last night, I was real happy to see that they gave Kenyon Martin Jr. some time in the game last night. I think he's somebody that they can build around.
Mm-hmm.
And again, last night's game was kind of a bummer. Down in New Orleans, but they only lost by 10. You figure if Embiid does play that game, he's going to get you at least a dozen to 16 points. So you're looking at a Sixers win if he plays. Going forward, now Sixers getting some good news today about W. Oubre, maybe back by next week.
That's good to hear.
It's definitely good to hear after being hit by a car. But I like what I'm seeing right now out of these bench guys. Guys like, Covington had 12 last night. Pat Bev had 11 last night. So, it's good to see that. I mean, Marcus Smart finished, 7 points. But, I mean, if you look at it, Paul Reed had 9 points. Bamba had 6 points coming off the bench. So, I mean,
I'm really curious in why they haven't played Bamba more. I don't know if it's just because of his inconsistency on the defense or if it's an inconsistency on the offense, but I know they're kind of holding back a little bit. And it's okay because we have so much depth. You can't get everybody in. And so I get that. The other game prior to the Pelicans, when Marcus Morris kind of had dropped 16, you have guys that Nick Nurse is getting the best out of. I look at like some of the guys that Nick Nurse had that if you look at what they're doing now, you could tell it's a Nick Nurse product. Van Vliet's not really blowing up the world, and Siakam's not really lighting the world on fire. So you can tell it's a system. It's the coach, not just the player.
Right.
I do agree with that too. I think the one thing I like about what Nick Nurse has done with the Sixers club is that that's something that if a thing doesn't go right, like he changes up the like substitutions, like kind of like we did not see with Doc Rivers. And I think the one thing I like about it too, even though they didn't have Joel Embiid last night, it was good to see that they only lost by 10 and not lost by many more.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what too. I'm looking at the standings, of this Atlantic Division, and the Sixers are only 2 back. Now the question is, they're going into Boston tomorrow night. Boston is undefeated at home; they haven't lost yet.
Right.
Maybe the Sixers can hang around and not, and beat them. I mean, they've already beaten them once this year.
Right.
And I think they're only going to play 4 times. So, this will be the 3rd time that they're going to be playing the Celtics. I think the next one's probably later on in the year.
Yeah, it's in
So-
like March or
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that'll be the last time you'll see them before
Yeah.
the playoffs.
right, and that game's also up there. So, I mean, their next 2 games are there because they did the it was so weird. To me, this whole tournament thing.
Yeah, I don't. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all either. They did a horrible job explaining it. I love the courts, though. I will tell you, the courts are awesome.
I think they did a horrible job promoting.
I think they did a bad
Yeah,
job.
to me, it just looked like they just said, "Okay, yeah, we're going to do this," and people were like, "Wait a minute, what the hell is going on?"
Right. It was like
And-
the season started, and then people were like telling us about the in-season tournament that's happening in like a month, and we're like, "What? What the
Yeah,
hell are you talking about?"
what's in season tournament? Guys, Angry Ant checking in says, "Hey guys, Sixers didn't have Embiid against the Pelicans, and everyone thinks it was an upset from the Pelicans." Yeah, and I just said that in my opening
And
remarks.
let me also add that Zion dropped 30, and he's kind of coming back into form. He's dropped a couple lbs. He's getting a little bit more. He's getting his skill set back. He's getting kind of his legs back underneath him. So Zion did go off. So
Yeah.
let's not make it seem like the Pelicans just got lucky.
Let me ask you, Joe. If you think if Embiid did play last year, you think Zion will have like 30 points?
No,
No,
I
no.
don't think that either. No.
I think Valanciunas had a
Had a
big
nice
game
game,
last.
yeah.
he had 19 last night.
And that wouldn't have happened if Embiid was there.
Yeah,
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, if you're looking at 2 Hawkins coming off the bench for them last night, had
Even
16.
McCollum didn't look that good.
McCollum had he had 20 points.
Oh, yeah, 20. Oh,
Yeah, he had 20 last night. But I mean, Brandon Ingram had 15
okay,
last night. I mean, Hawkins had 16 coming off the bench, playing 23 minutes.
Gotcha.
So I mean, he was, he did most of his damage. He was 3 for 8 from the 3-point line. So guys, looking forward to this. I want you guys' honest opinion. Looking at their schedule upcoming, they have tomorrow night in Boston. How are you guys seeing this game? Do the Celtics take a 2-1 series lead in the season, or do the Sixers give them their first home loss?
And see, I think that the Sixers can go up there and compete. I really think that this kind of comes down to if Embiid's playing and he's a 50 to 80% healthy Embiid is better than none in that game. Because you got to keep in mind that the person that they're going to have to send out there in their A game to guard Embiid is Horford. And if you have Embiid out, then Horford has they can go with a smaller lineup,
Mhm.
which means they can shoot more threes.
Right.
And Boston's all about shooting the threes.
Right.
All about it.
So, what's your prediction? Do you think the Sixers get the win, or do you think Boston goes up 2-1?
I think the Sixers get the win.
Okay. James, what are you looking at?
I think it'll be better than the performance that they had last night. I think it'll be a better outcome. I mean, I don't know about trying to shut down Jason Tatum though, because a little bit he gets me a little bit of a headache every time when he has the ball in his hands. I mean, thank God Marcus Smart's not there anymore to be an agitator. But I see the Sixers winning this game. I think they're going to take advantage of it. But Boston's a really good team, so it might be close towards the end. But I think they got to get the win.
Okay, so you think the Sixers are in the tight one? I think the Sixers take it too. There's the better half checking in. Can you bring up Anthony's comment real quick. He said Embiid would have shut Williamson down, and the Sixers don't have a backup center. I disagree with that about the backup center. I think they do. They got to just give, I think, Mamba more playing time,
Agreed.
and I think he could go in very good for Joel. Um,
Like I've talked to other people around that are in other cities that saw us picking up Bamba and going, "Wow, that was a steal."
yeah.
And like
Yeah.
we're kind of treating it like he's the 11th guy on our bench.
Well,
on our
here's the thing. He may not be in shape too. Like he may take him a minute to get in shape. Ryan Stroop checking in, saying, "Hey guys, good evening, Ryan. Thank you again for checking in with us." Guys, we're going to switch gears now. We're going to move over to the other the other winner team, as they're trying to bounce back from a 4-1 loss.
Yes.
You know, and tonight you get the Dirty Devils at home in South Philadelphia. I love it. I like it now that, I think the Flyers are not as good as the Devils. The Devils, they were a playoff team a year ago, but they're definitely two young teams. I like to see this is kind of a measuring stick game, I believe, for the Flyers. And looking ahead now to the weekend, Saturday, I believe they're here Saturday, or they're in Pittsburgh. No, they're here Saturday, and they're in Pittsburgh on
I think it's Monday.
Monday. No, they're at Pittsburgh Saturday, home here Monday.
Oh.
Okay, so basically they're in South Philly tonight. They go to Pittsburgh for Saturday's game, play at the Igloo Consolation whatever Center.
They
out
changed
there.
hands like so many
Oh
times.
my God, yeah. So yeah, they go to the new Igloo out there, play them out there, and then they come back home here to play. Hey Eileen, what's going on? My favorite Jets fan checking in from New York. Thank you for checking in. And yeah, I think they get a nice split with them guys. I think they'll split. I really do like the Flyers tonight. I really do. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I do. James, can you do me a favor? X out of that so you can see the timer.
Sure.
So because we got to pay bills. Anthony's saying Bamba is limited. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not sure eliminated what, but to get into the Flyers and the Devils, um, I agree with you. It's definitely a matchup that kind of it becomes intriguing because these two teams are looking for what their identities are, and when you have two teams like this, and I kind of go back to the late '90s when you had Scott Stevens and some of those guys, and Keith Primos and Eric Gross and stuff. That rivalry between the Devils and the Flyers is
I go
heated.
back even further before that. I'm a little older than you guys, but I go back to when we first got Lindros, and when they first got him, Lindros would drop the gloves, man, and he would definitely go. I seen a preseason game. Like we're not even talking regular season game. It was a preseason game, and him and Stevens dropped the gloves, and I remember Lindros whooped the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like that's kind of the thing for me is that these two teams could re-emerge that rivalry.
I would
as
love
they
to see
really
it.
got-
I would love to see it
Love to
because
see
I feel like the rivalries have kind of gone down. Pittsburgh's kind of taken a step back.
Yeah.
Those guys are getting older, like Malkin and Crosby. They're not the players they once were. Ovechkin's not the player he once was. So the rivalry with the Capitals,
There's
really,
going to begin to be a turnover in the
Yeah,
NHL.
yeah, there is. And the thing about it is, you know what I love too, that they got rid of that boring Southwest division, and they were able to rekindle some of these rivalries. Because if you remember, Tampa went down there, Florida went down
Yep.
there. Now,
Yep.
those two teams, I believe, are in the other conference or
Right.
the other division.
Division, yep.
They're in the other division, but it brings back Washington to our division. Where now Washington, who was also part of that, Carolina, who was the old Hartford Whalers, it kind of brings back those rivalries, those teams. And to me, I want to see the Flyers get back in the rivalry games. So, yeah, we have a rivalry with the Rangers, but it's been kind of one-sided.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Islanders. For some odd reason, they can't beat that team.
Nope. As long as I can remember.
Well, and you got to kind of give the Islanders a little bit of credit because they were able to go from obscurity to kind
Yeah,
of
I love that fact. I mean, one of our sponsors, Philly Sports Trips, they're actually doing the Flyers outdoor game. But the very next day, you got Rangers Islanders also from MetLife Stadium. So Like
for the price of one.
now, you're seeing that they can get. They're starting to get some notice as well. So, with that being said, we're going to pay some bills, guys. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, it's time to talk about Sherry's Tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. Do not pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. That's 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, do not overpay and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. Save 10% using the promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. You'll thank us later. Sherry'sTickets.com.
All right, you guys, we're back from paying bills. And like I said, if you get a chance, if you're an Eagles fan or whoever, like an Eagles fan, a Union fan, Phillies fan, I can't wait. They're running a sports trip. Phillies sports trip next year. They're going to London for Phillies Mets. Wow. That's something. If you guys want to go across the pond, I know they ran a bust. They ran a few years ago over there when the Eagles played the Jaguars. So, I mean, I did their bus trip a year ago to DC. And for home games, guys, the Seattle trip is still out there. I don't know if the Dallas one. I think the Dallas one's sold out. I'm not sure, but you can go on there and check. But I know the Seattle one has now been moved to a Monday night. It's now a Monday night game, not a Sunday game. It's been flexed. So you'll get Eagles Seahawks on Monday Night Football. So again,
I gotta say something about that because it makes me feel good because the last two times like the Eagles play against opponents, either it's this week with the 49ers and the other week with the Cowboys, they have like a combination like 20 days off between the two, and now the Eagles finally get a break after they play Dallas, and then they'll prepare for that.
well, they play Dallas on Sunday.
Yeah.
The next game's not until Monday. But I mean, it's not much. I mean, but if I don't know if you guys have been watching the schedule over the last few years, the Eagles, especially late in the year, the NFL has done them no favors. Like I think it was maybe 3 years ago, they literally 5 straight games they got teams coming off the bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Or a mini bye.
I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was 3 games in like 12 days.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
A road trip, like a 3 straight.
Yeah,
games,
and here's the thing too. Like, I don't know if you take notice of this, but they always get the Eagles, and they always get the Eagles Cowboys. It's always that second after they play the next, like they play Thanksgiving, then they get the next week's Thursday game. Dallas always gets that game, and then it's always the Eagles right after that. Like so, Dallas always has a 10-day. They always have a 10-day, like a 10-day between games when they get ready to play the Eagles the second time. They always do.
Right.
So I think last year might have been the first time they didn't, or a couple of years ago it wasn't because I thought it was weird. But we're gonna dive in. Like we really kind of held up, guys. We've saved really. We kind of got the Sixers and the Flyers out of the way because this Eagles 49ers matchup coming up on Sunday. For me, I think now a lot of mouths are going to get closed on Sunday. And the way I'm looking at it, Lane Johnson today, full participant in practice. So to me, I feel like Nick Bosa's not even going to be relevant. I mean, Lane shut him down with one leg last year. So I can imagine what a semi-healthy Lane, which, by the way, if you were hearing anything about the groin, he said it was scar tissue ripping. That's what he was feeling.
Inflammation.
Yeah, it was inflammation. So the scar tissue's ripping with him, which means, pretty much healed up. It's just a scar tissue. So that's a great sign.
It is a great sign.
So I'm looking to see. I want to know from you guys. I really want to know your opinions on this because I got, I'm going to save my team for last about this game, but I really want to. I
Well-
really want to talk about this because as far as we're going to go into the game itself, but like the lack of respect that the Eagles are getting right now, I feel is ridiculous.
It is.
Well,
And Joe, I'm going to let you take the wheel on this because I know you've got a lot to say about it. So, Joey, go ahead, take it over.
so I gotta kind of clear the air and get something really off my chest that I've had since the game after Kansas City. The lack of respect that not only the Eagles are getting, or not getting, I should say, and the lack of respect that Jalen Hurts is not getting. Now, I'm going to tell you, everyone out there right now, and I said this on the group text, and I'll reiterate it here. For all that want to hear my voice, anybody who's not on the Jalen Hurts train is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I don't want to deal with you. Like, if you don't believe that now, there's no saving you. Because here's the fact of the matter. Jalen Hurts 2 times went against what people say is the best quarterback in the league, and 2 times outplayed him. 2 times he went against Patrick Mahomes and said, "Give me your best shot, and I'm still going to come out looking better than you." Yes, it was 1-1. I get it. But here's the way that I see it. Jalen didn't lose the Super Bowl because he didn't get a chance to respond. Jalen went on that field against the Chiefs and said, "Now you're giving me an opportunity to respond." And that's exactly what he did. Then we go to another quarterback that people put above Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. And we made him have his best game of his career. And he still couldn't beat Jalen Hurts. So I am done with all you doubters of Jalen Hurts and not being the best quarterback in the league. I am done with the people that are not on this train for this Eagles with this quarterback, because what he has proven, not only in the last week or two, but the whole season, his whole career, is that he's always going to hold the standard higher and higher and higher, which we as fans already do in this city. So why not get behind the guy that's leading the charge? Because I'm damn sure am. Because this is a guy that, whether it's the Niners this week or the Cowboys a week or two from now, or Seattle or whomever, whether it's Kansas City in another Super Bowl rematch, it does not matter. It's going to sound cliche. I get it. But I'm going to say it anyhow. It's like Rocky. Rocky and Rocky 1 lost the fight. People don't remember that because he was talking the dialogue. He lost that fight. But he was proud because he went the distance. Jalen Hurts, in his first matchup against the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes, went the distance. If not, went further because he outplayed him. He couldn't come away with the win. The second matchup was Rocky 2. And what happened? Jalen got a chance to finish what he was able to start. And then he won. Now you're looking at these two quarterbacks and seeing who is better. When you talk about gameplay, you got to talk Jalen Hurts. When you talk about wins and losses, you can say they're about even. And that's fine, because when the third matchup happens, Jalen Hurts will put the nail in the proverbial coffin of all the doubters that are out there saying that Jalen Hurts is nothing more than a system quarterback or a rushing quarterback. You know what? He is a rushing quarterback because he is a dual threat that uses his head versus just his legs. And that makes him dangerous. So, yes, everybody in the NFL should be scared because this guy is a driven, motivated, and skillful quarterback. And he's coming to take what belongs to us. That is the Super Bowl trophy.
Wow. And that was Joey Marks, ladies and gentlemen. Man, Joey should be a coach, Joe. You should go and get people running through walls. James, what do you got about this game up to the 49ers?
Well, I mean, I don't know how to respond to that. actually really good by you, Joey. I got to tip my cap to you. But the one thing I take out of this game is it's plain and simple is that I heard all the doubters say that Brian Johnson's not a good offensive coordinator and X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, like it doesn't matter what it looks on the stat sheet. Wins matter the most more than anything about this team. Like they absolutely horrible for 2 quarters or 3 quarters, but when it comes to lunchtime, I'm trusting Jalen to take us down the field and win that game. I really do because the last couple weeks, I have to be honest with you, I haven't watched them. I mean, I've been watching them, but I've never seen a great team in my lifetime. Seen somebody that's completely locked in from the very, I mean, even that 59, 60 yard Jake Elliott, see on his face and said, "Damn, I would have scored a touchdown there." And then the next drive in overtime, coming into that game and saying, "Oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to get this game. I'm going to win this game. Don't worry." He has that Joe Montana mentality. I never seen Joe Montana play, but just the perseverance he has is unbelievably like I never. I mean, we've been. I've been waiting for this for all my life. I mean, I've seen some horrible pain with Donovan and crucial interceptions in the most time of the game. I haven't seen a lot of. I mean, folks had some plays here and there that was a. I guess you could say that were comeback wins. But this one is just. He just shows me that he wants to be here. And shows he wants to win. Especially like Bryce Harper does. Like he has that same Bryce Harper feeling. He just loves to be here, and he wants to prove everybody that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I'm sold on him. I was never sold on him at first when he got drafted, but I'm fully on board. I think he's the best quarterback we ever had as an Eagle in this Eagles history in my lifetime.
Well,
Yeah.
it's really funny. Like, I'm going to mention this. Like, when he got drafted, me and Pat were sitting here talking. I remember looking at Pat and I said to him, listen, you're going to go back and put those words.
Right.
Because we got it. And I looked at him, I said, one thing you're not going to tell me. I said, this kid's going to come here. He's going to work.
Yes.
I said, he will get better. I said, he will continue to get better. I said, he is the son of a coach. I said, it's in his DNA to get better. And my thought going into this game.
Before you go there, I want to go back to what you were just saying because me and Freddie Burns got into it. I was on EOP air when he got drafted. And me and Freddie got into it. But I do my research. I do my stats. And I'll be fair. I'll be honest. Like I watch the college game as a casual watcher. I don't watch every single college football game.
Sure.
So when Jalen Hurts was drafted, I needed to do research to really know what we got in order to either knock him down or support him when we drafted him. So, Mike, you watch college football very well, very closely.
Yes.
This guy was a starting quarterback for 2 premier programs, Oklahoma and Alabama.
Mhm.
He had 100 total touchdowns in his collegiate career.
Mhm.
How many players have you seen in your watching college football all your years that have done what Jalen Hurts has done in the collegiate
There's been a few. The one thing that I took out of his collegiate career was, and I think what's made his drive this year is if you take a look, he got benched for Tua.
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of people don't realize is, and what story, a lot of people don't bring up too, that he also replaced Tua against Georgia
Sure.
in the SEC championship game
I
to
remember
get
that game.
them back to another one. So he's always been a team guy, and even Tua has come out and said it himself when they were in Alabama. But what really opened my eyes about Jalen Hurts, and this doesn't get talked about enough either, is that when he transferred and went to Oklahoma, it's a Heisman candidate. He finished second, only behind Joe Burrow.
I was going to say he was a Heisman.
So think about that for a second. He was throwing his ball out there at Oklahoma. He was throwing to CeeDee Lamb.
And keep in mind, there was another quarterback in Oklahoma that was rivaling Jalen Hurts. So he had to compete with
Yeah.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
No, he's not.
Or this is
Yeah.
No, Connor went before.
Skyler replaced him after Jalen left.
No, I think it's the other way around. I
Okay.
think he replaced Connor. Connor went to the NFL. Connor came in first. So, because the way it was Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts.
Right.
So he replaced him. But again, if you're looking at it, this kid lost his starting job. He never pouted. He just put his head down and worked.
And still produced.
And still,
Like that's the thing.
like, here's
I
the
looked
thing.
at 100 touchdowns in your collegiate career.
I'm not even talking about the touchdowns.
Well,
I'm talking about in the film room. This dude was
I get that.
this dude was in the film room with Tua, helping Tua break down defense.
I'll be honest. So I looked at the stats 1st,
Mhm.
right? And then I went back and I went on the YouTube and I looked at the film. And one of the things you could tell about Jalen is whether they were winning or whether they were losing. Whether he was having a good game or a bad game. The demeanor never changed.
Right.
The demeanor is stone faced. I don't want to play poker against this guy because you can never tell if this guy's got a flush or two pairs.
Right. But another thing too, I also want to give you a little bit of credit too, is when he was there in Alabama, Bill O'Brien was his offensive coordinator. Bill O'Brien leaves there. No, this is after Penn State. This is after.
A couple years before that.
No, this is
A couple years ago.
he went became somebody else's coordinator. I think he went back to New England. Or,
Yeah.
This is like his third trip back to New England. So I think he went back there after McDaniels, I think, screwed up and went to Denver or whatever. That was one of his. So when he left there and he went to Oklahoma, he got with Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley was the guy. If you take a look, Lincoln Riley made Spencer Rattler. If you don't know who that is, that's the quarterback right now in South Carolina. He started at Oklahoma. When he was at Oklahoma, he was a Heisman candidate. The dude fell off the face of the earth. He's now like quarterback for South Carolina.
Mhm.
He made Spencer Rattler a household name. When he got there, he helped Jalen with his mechanics. You could start to see this is why he finished up as a runner-up for the Heisman. And a lot of people don't talk about that. Like that year that he had, it was only him and CeeDee Lamb. That was their offense. Like he didn't have all the 5-star recruits that Alabama had. You know what I mean? If a couple of those wide receivers would have came over with him, like if there was a transfer portal like there is now, and he moved up there, my God.
Well, keep in mind, A.J. Brown, who's now an Eagle and a teammate of Jalen,
Right.
even said if there were a transfer portal back then,
Oh yeah, he would
he
have
would have
transferred
transferred
for-
to Jalen.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, you knew in college, like to me, that's what showed me that I'm like, when I see they pick that kid up, the first thing I thought was they don't like what they see in Carson Wentz.
Right.
And this kid's going to end up taking this job. And me and Pat argued about it.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Pat sat right here. Pat goes, "Oh, you're nuts. The Wentz right." I said, dude, I'm telling you, he's going to replace Wentz as a starter.
It was an insurance policy.
Yes.
You know, here's the thing about it too that really makes me even more astounding about what he's done the last couple of years. That obviously the Georgia game comes to me when he was that quarterback in that SEC championship game, and I was thinking to myself, like I was not thinking that at the time. I was thinking, there's no way. I mean, obviously Carson Wentz was still at the mix of his prime, I guess you could say. And I was like saying, there's no way they're going to draft this quarterback, right? And I just had a conspiracy theory out there. And then flip the page 2 years later after that game, he had the concussion. And it's like saying, okay, now we have to find a way to probably go forward. And I guess he was the guy that fell in our lap.
Well, keep in mind, on that same
No, he didn't fall on our lap, dude. Howie went and got him.
Went out and got him, yeah.
in EOP on that draft night, Al was on the same show, and the one thing that Al kept saying was that that drafting of Jalen Hurts just validates that the Eagles are a quarterback factory, as though that was a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it's not, because the most important position on a football team is your quarterback.
Which, by the way, I think the kid who's the third string quarterback here,
McKee,
Tanner McKee, he's going to be Jalen's backup.
Yes.
Move forward.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and I like the way he, he can actually
he
run.
carries himself very well.
Yes, and going forward. But
Yeah.
All right, we're kind of paying a little homage here to Jalen, but I want to kind of get back on track here with this
Right.
game. With this,
Well, the reason why I got off that way is because The one thing I've been hearing, and James brought up Montana with in regards to Hurts.
It's just
I
like I just don't know what it is, but I think he's just locked in.
but I heard the most ridiculous thing today. It's Brock Purdy being compared to Tom Brady, and I want to ram my head into a wall as
Well,
hard as I possibly can.
here's a reason for that, Joe. One, Brady was a 6th-round pick. Okay, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant in the last round of 7.
That's what I was thinking.
So
too.
that's why they're doing it. But my whole thing about this is this point spread where now the Eagles are a 3. They're a
Point
3
underdog.
3-point underdog. Okay, and the way I'm looking at it is this: last time I checked, 10-1 is better than 8-3.
Yeah,
And
I'm
coming
terrible.
here.
I'm terrible at math, but I think that's
And
right.
I'm sorry, but it's not the Eagles flying cross country to go play in San Francisco. They're flying cross country to come play here.
Yep.
For them to be 3-point underdogs, to me, we've been saying all year we haven't seen the best Eagles game yet. Like, I got a strong suspicion come Sunday, you're going to see the very best Eagle team that they can put on the field.
It should scare them that we haven't put it together
And-
all yet. It should terrify them.
Well, hold your thought, Joe, because you know what? We got to pay some bills, guys, so we'll be right back.
All right, guys, if you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. Go to phillysportstrips.com. They have self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights from the Philadelphia airport. Packages include direct flights, 4-night stays, all-inclusive tailgate parties, lower-level group tickets. Whatever you want, you got it with phillysportstrips.com. If you want to travel to an upcoming Phillies game, make sure you check out Philly Sports Trips. And do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2023 season. Jump on it now, because you do not want to lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com.
Oh, we're back, guys. We're just discussing our stuff here, so if you kind of heard us in mid-sentence, I apologize for that. But it's cool. Joe, the trash talking this week. The way I'm looking at this, man, I like from the 3 games that I saw I saw more than 3 games of the Niners. But there are 3 losses that I saw. Okay, a lot of Niner fans were talking. Oh, they didn't have Debo. They didn't have, they didn't have Trent Williams, who's their Pro Bowl right tackle.
Mhm.
I think it's okay. For me, my issue with that is it's okay for the 49ers not to have those guys in there. And when they lose, it's okay. But Eagles don't have Lane Johnson last week, okay? And they lose Fletcher Cox in that game,
Mhm.
which are 2 Pro Bowlers.
Right.
And we get lucky. Not
And,
just
and
that,
we were without Dallas Goddard.
and we're without Dallas Goddard, who's
Exactly.
also an all-pro guy. But, I feel like the nation is waiting for this Eagles team to fall on its face. And the Eagles are doing a really good job right now of saying, you know what? No, we're not falling on our face.
Mhm.
We are that team.
Right.
I think this could be the game where everything comes together for them. Because if you take a look at, and I'm going to be real honest with you, I watched that Cleveland Browns game. Okay, I watched the Cleveland Browns game. Their defensive line got physical with that offensive line. If the Eagles' defensive line gets physical in this game, it's going to be a long day for the 49ers. Brock Purdy's not going to be able to get the ball down the field. Again, I understand. I'm not saying that the 49ers are not a good team. They are. To me, honestly, I think they're the 3rd best team in the NFC. I think if they were to play the Dallas Cowboys right now, and this is a take, and you can hold me to this, if they played the Dallas Cowboys right now, I think the Cowboys would beat them. They caught the Cowboys early on in the season. Dak's got a new offensive coordinator. He was learning that system. I equate them beating the Cowboys the same way we did back in, the early 90s when we played the 49ers. We went out there, we rolled them 40-8. We thought our team was great. The Eagles end up losing the last 7. I'm not going to say the 49ers ain't going to end up losing 7 games, but the Eagles didn't even get into the playoffs that year. 49ers went on to win the Super Bowl, and they got rolled. I think right now, I think Dallas is the 2nd best team. I think if they went and played them on a neutral field, I'm not talking about earlier in the year. I feel like they caught Dallas at the right time. He was still learning his offense. Their offense really wasn't kind of going. If you take a look since they lost that game, their offense has been clicking. And Dak's been, listen, I don't, I hate the star, but I got to give the devil their due. I got to give him their due. He is playing MVP type football. He really is. Got to look at his numbers, man. His interceptions are half of what he had a year ago. His touchdowns are almost double what he had a year ago. The dude is throwing. Lamb's balling out. The kid Ferguson, the tight end, is balling out. Now Brandon Cooks is starting to come into play as far as the receiving. You got to. As much as I don't like the star, don't. But you got to tip their cap. I said early on this year, I said the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. Cowboys won big because I think we're going to meet them 3 times this year, and I truly believe that. The San Francisco team, I'm sorry, I think with them not refusing to back off the statements that were made after this championship game, they forget we still have people on this team too. Okay, and as Hassan Reddick said, we've had this game circled too. Okay,
Yep.
I want to see a pissed off Josh Swift. I want to see a pissed off Hassan Reddick on Sunday. Trent Williams, you're supposed to be okay. They lost those 3 games. I want to see the Eagles, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Eagles are going to kick their ass. I think it's going to be an ass whooping.
I
I'll
mean,
give you my score. I'll give you my score in a little bit, but I think it's going to be an ass whooping.
I mean, here's the thing, and I think, look, I'm a history major by nature and by trade.
Oh wow,
So what I could tell you,
we actually have scholars here.
yeah, potential. But I mean, if you go back in time, not that long ago, we beat the snot literally out of your players to the point where we wiped out both of your quarterbacks. To the point where you had to have Christian McCaffrey try and throw the football. Understand something. You are not backing off your statements. You're going to walk into the lion's den not with a T-bone steak wrapped around your neck, and you're not going to know how to get out of it unless you throw the steak and run. Now, understand something. I understand. Debo Samuel wants to talk his mess.
Listen, I can't see why this dude's even talking. Like, listen, he is a good player, but look at his output right now. Look at his output right now. Like his output to me, I mean, he's
Is
not.
he a top 15 receiver? Like, let's not put good in front of Debo. He's fair. He's okay.
He's an okay receiver, but
he's an athletic player.
he's a Swiss Army knife because he can also run the
So
ball.
is Taysom Hill.
Right, but he's not Tyreek Hill.
No.
Okay, and this is
No.
what I'm saying.
No.
This is what I'm saying. And the Eagles pretty much held Tyreek Hill with Jalen Waddle in check. Now I like Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk is a
good.
very good deep threat. But what I'm saying to you is this. Okay, as much as if you're looking at offensive lines, I'm taking the Eagles offensive line over the San Francisco 49ers offensive line. Yes, have the Eagles been soft around the middle? They've been bend but don't break. Yes, I get it. I understand that. I think Kittle could have a big game for them. But the Eagles are also, they're pretty damn good against the run. And they know everything starts with McCaffrey running the ball. So, and guess what? I understand they went and got Chase Young, and they have Hargraves from us a year ago. But you know what? They didn't go against them baby Bulldogs in the middle either.
Right.
When did they get a load of Jalen Carter?
And Jordan.
And Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
When did they get, Jordan Davis played like 3 snaps in that game a year ago. Remember, he came back from injury. He wasn't right when he came back from that injury. This dude's been pretty much healthy all year.
I'm going to tell you this. The words that Chase Young used were, I'm going to be ready. We're going to show him on Sunday.
Well, good.
Because here's the thing. You're going to go against Jordan Mailata. You better look up. Because that boy is going to knock your head off.
So what was his exact quote again? I'm sorry.
He said, "I'll be ready on Sunday."
Well, good. He can be ready because
Be ready.
he was ready a few weeks ago in Washington, and he didn't get nowhere near. He didn't get nowhere near Jalen Hurts in that game. Now, the first game, yes, he did get a sack against Iowa. The game here, the one we won in overtime. But that second game, Chase Young could not be found. So I'm not worried about that. So, guys, we're going to give our predictions coming up. The other side of this. Don't forget, we also have our college our pro six pack college picks as well. You know, we have games, championship games coming up. So make sure you guys tune in for that. We'll be right back in a moment.
All right, guys, let's talk about Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you got to call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, that number is 610-565-0300. That's 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right.
All right, we are back, and we're going to give our predictions for this 49ers-Eagles game. I guess
Let's start with you, James. What do you got?
Ooh, I agree 100% what you're saying about what they'll have in store this weekend. I mean, I don't see it's going to be a close game at all. I think it's going to be, if you put Brock Purdy in his place early, he's going to see a lot of ghosts out there, man. I mean, just like we just talked about with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and X, Y, and Z. I say the Eagles are going to probably, well, they're going to win. I'm not saying it's going to be close, but
Which
the score will be 34-10 Eagles.
Okay, that's pretty bold. All right, Joe, what you got?
So I respect the Niners defense. I do. But I don't. Yeah, but I don't respect Brock Purdy whatsoever.
I don't either.
And so I got the Eagles beating the Niners 24-14.
Okay, 24-14 for him. Me personally, I'm looking at something kind of close to the NFC title game. If you look at it on the field right now, Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy.
Agreed.
He's got better. The tandem wide receivers of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are better than Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. And I have a ton of respect for Ayuk. Deebo Samuel, I don't have nothing. I think this Eagles defense, like as much as we've been bent but don't break, a lot of people forget about that Dolphins game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I feel like I'm sorry. I watched KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison tear up that Niners secondary, which, by the way, they're missing Tofanga, who is probably their best safety. Their corners are trash. Debo wants to bring up corners that are trash. He needs to look at his own team because I watched KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison kill them. I watched Donovan Peoples-Jones and Amari Cooper have their way with them
Now,
in those games. And then I watched Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase had a day of all days against that Niners secondary with Tofanga in there.
And T.
So,
Higgins, too.
and T. Higgins also. So I'm not hearing about that. And I don't want to hear, like, they're talking about they didn't have Debo, they didn't have Trent Williams. Well, guess what? You have people on defense. Like, your starting defense was there. Maybe Armstead, I think, might have been banged up. But boo-hoo. I ain't trying to hear it. It's November. You lose people. Again, Lane Johnson's starting. He's healthy. Your best pass rusher couldn't sniff our quarterback when he was playing on one leg.
Yep.
And you really think he's going to get in there now with Lane healthy and ready to go? That's not happening. So I'm looking at this. I'm putting up a 30. I think the Eagles can put up another 30 burger on them. I'm kind of like with James with 34, but I'm actually going to be nice. I'm thinking 34-17. I'm going to give them 17 points. But I really don't think – I think that 17 points is going to come. They may – 7 will be early, but I think those next 10 are garbage time.
And Mike, you like to play the anytime touchdowns
Yes.
with people. If you look at the last two games for the Eagles, look at the receivers that really had good games, and they're all third string receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put that into account, who's the third string receiver for the Niners? I'd take an anytime touchdown or anything on him because I feel like this Eagles defense nullifies the first two
If
receivers.
you're going to go anybody, if you're going to do that, you got to look at because
Yeah, okay.
I would say George Kittle because he is a weapon for them.
Yeah.
And I do believe
He would
can
be
get it.
considered a third.
And I'm not trying to be.
Yeah.
I'm not like I know people might be looking at going, well, that's probably a homerish pick saying 34-17. I'm looking at the matchups, man. I watched a PJ Walker come in and literally light up lit up that San Francisco secondary. Lit them up.
They only beat two good quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. That's it.
And that was them coming off a bye. Like if you go back, like I'm going to actually bring this. I'm going to go back a couple weeks because if I remember correctly, with this 49ers team, when they went beat up on the when they beat up on the Jaguars, it was like I believe it's like the week after the Jags came back from the London game. Yeah, they won 34-3. The Jags didn't get a bye week, but I think San Francisco had a bye. If I remember right, yeah, the 49ers and the Jags both had a bye week that week.
Oh, wow.
So they both came off a bye, but the Jags were coming from across the pond. So I mean, I mean, to me, like I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, if you're looking at it, they are coming back across the pond. So you figure even if they leave you out Sunday after their game, they're not getting in their house till like what Monday night.
Right.
All I got to say is, Brock Purdy, get your hospital bed
No,
ready.
you know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm not saying that. I don't want to see that. I want to see Brock play the game because
I just think Brock's soft.
I don't think he's soft. I don't think he's soft. I mean, he legit got hurt, but that was something. That was a freak injury, and if you really look at it, I do believe it's a freak. I want him to be healthy. I want him to be 100% because when the Eagles beat them, and I do think the Eagles are going to beat them. When they do beat them, they can look back and go, "What's your excuse now?
Yep.
No,
what can you cry? What can you cry about?" And I'm tired of hearing this BS too about the refs.
They'll find something.
Did you hear the BS about the refs? I'm really getting tired of hearing about this too. They're saying that you got people coming on various forms of social media going, "Oh, well, the Eagles got away with this, and the Eagles got away with that," and I'm going, "What game are you guys watching?" They get mad about the Josh Allen because they pulled on the front of the jersey. It's not a horse collar if you pull on the front. Now, when he grabbed him on the back, he didn't grab him by the top of the horse collar. He grabbed him by the nameplate and slammed him down.
I gotta explain something too about penalties too. If you want to call roughing the passer penalty, don't make it look like it's a LeBron James flop, one of the flops of the.
Now, I will say this: one thing,
I'm just saying.
like I thought looking at it live, I thought it was a horse collar because I have a friend of mine who is a Bills fan, and we were texting back and forth. And I'm like, oh, dude, we should have been called for that.
Yeah.
But now, going back and looking at it, when you look at it, he grabs the name. He doesn't.
James is talking about the hit where the guy pulls up and he hits Josh Allen, and Josh Allen flies backwards.
Oh, well.
And he's like, oh, he hit me. And
Listen,
it's like, dude, he pulled up. Relax.
Yeah, but
I mean,
if you're taking a look at it, like they were talking about, like certain grabs about Diggs being grabbed. I mean, dude, if you go back and watch that game, Dawkins, their left tackle, was holding Josh Sweat all game.
Right.
I mean, like hands around his neck.
I'll go back one game further. With Kansas City.
Same thing. Kansas City, their offensive line was holding left and right.
Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are both like, how am I not getting,
what do you want me to do?
Same thing. Like their offense. So I mean, yeah, you can call holding on every play. You really can. But I mean,
but it's true.
It is. But for me, like I said, like for people crying about the officiating, like I remember the Dallas fans were crying about the officiating and I'm like, dude, we out penalized you in penalties and yards in the second half. What are you talking about? Like you literally had a chance to win the game because of tough
penalties.
Yeah, right. I was like, how do you get from the 10 down to the 30-yard line with
We did against Buffalo too, but the only thing difference is that we trust our kicker to hit a 59-yarder.
listen.
And
Look at that. I mean, look at that. Those calls they called against Kelsey. Like now, raise your eye about that.
That's ridiculous.
Like, you're sitting there looking like, okay, dude. Like, I literally thought the fix was in. Then I was like, oh man, that's
I
gonna be rough.
I thought so too, brother.
I thought Kelsey was going to go over to LA and be like, "I'll buy you a case of beer if you hit this field goal."
All right, fellas. So
Let's get
let's get into this. Our picks. This random off what you got, Joe. We're going to start with you first, buddy. Give me your 6 picks NFL, 3 picks college.
So I got the first one is ACC championship. I got Florida State over Louisville.
Mhm.
SEC. My boys over here, so and I don't like Bama, so I'm gonna go
My
with the
man.
Bulldogs over
Okay.
Bama. I'm gonna ride with the dogs,
Yes, sir.
and I'm gonna go with Michigan in the Big Ten championship.
Boy, you're out on a limb there. Now, what's your 6 pack for the NFL?
So I got the Cowboys over the Seahawks tonight, even though I hope they lose.
Okay.
But, Dolphins over the Commanders.
Okay.
KC over Green Bay.
Okay.
Jags over the Bengals.
Okay.
Texans over the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Lions over the Saints.
All right. Cool. All right, Jimmy. Your college.
Okay, this one's pretty good. I got Washington over Oregon.
Okay.
Again, Michigan over Iowa.
Shocker there.
Look, it's a gimmick. I'm sorry.
Now watch Michigan or watch Iowa pull the upset. That'd be great.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Make every Ohio State fan happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Is Harbaugh allowed back on the sideline?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. He was off the Penn State game. He was off the next game. Ohio State. Yeah, he should be. What's your last one, Jim?
Obviously, my dogs over Alabama.
Georgia. All right, give me your 6 pack.
6-pack. All right, I got the Lions over the Saints.
All right.
Texans over the Broncos.
Did you and Joe swap picks?
Looks like it.
We didn't see.
We didn't see, honestly. Falcons over the Jets. I really do like the Falcons this
Okay.
weekend. Dolphins over Commies.
All right.
Browns over Rams. And the Jags over Cincy.
I did not want to touch the Browns.
All right.
I really did.
I tried, but I got a buddy of mine.
All right. I'm going to let you know what mine is. My 3 colleges are. I'm going opposite of you, James. I'm taking Oregon.
Oregon's a good team.
I'm taking Oregon. I think Bo Nix gets it done. So I'm taking them. I am also taking Texas in their game against Oklahoma State. I'm taking Liberty in their bowl game. Liberty Bibbity. And of course, guys, real quick, Army Navy guys, who you going with?
I gotta go with Army.
All right, so you're going Army.
I gotta go Navy. I come from a long line of Navy men.
Yeah.
All right, so Joey likes seamen. But not. I'm actually gonna go with Army in this one. I usually root for Navy. But
So do I.
so there's my 4. So again, I'll reiterate: Oregon, Texas, Liberty, and Army. Of course, when I do my picks for the NFL, I do it with the point spread. I am also taking those Detroit Lions over New Orleans. They can't seem to get out of their own way. I'm laying 4 against them. I'm also taking the Atlanta Falcons -2.5. The Jets can't score. Atlanta can.
That's obvious.
I'm also taking Pittsburgh -5.5. They are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Definitely doing that. Miami -9.5 against Commanders. I'm dropping to 10. I don't think they're going to come within 20
I
points.
think
Miami.
it's going to be like a 25-point blowout.
I'm taking Tampa Bay -5.5 over those
Panthers. Yes.
And of course, Joe, I agree with you. I like Kansas City Chiefs -6. So those are our picks. But guys, I gotta let you guys know, James, I didn't have your pick from last week. You didn't send them over to me. We were here, remember?
No, it was on Thanksgiving.
Right, it was Thanksgiving. The week before, I don't. I got to go back and take a look. I don't have the.
You said I was like 2-5.
Yeah, like 2-5. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. Joe actually sent me over his picks last week. Joe, you had a good week, man. You went 5-2. You took Kansas City over Las Vegas. You took Baltimore over the Chargers. You took the Dolphins over the Jets. You took Detroit over Green Bay. That was one of your losses. You took the Jags, or I'm sorry, Houston over the Jags. That was your second loss. You had the Eagles beating Buffalo, and you had Dallas over Washington.
Detroit ate too much damn turkey.
Yes.
That's what the
Too
problem
much
is.
Now, here was mine last week. I had Atlanta plus 1.5 over New Orleans. I won that. I took Pittsburgh minus 2.5 over Cincinnati. Won that. I thought Carolina might be able to squeak one by, getting 3.5 points. I lost that one at Tennessee. I took the New York Giants, getting 4, and they beat Bill Belichick in the Bill Belichick Bowl. So I got a win there. The Rams decided that they were not
Stupid.
Yeah, so they end up losing to they beat Arizona last week, didn't they?
Did they?
I thought they did.
Oh yeah. I just gotta make sure real quick because I could have sworn. Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? No, hold on.
I didn't watch.
By the way, to kind of as like a filler, with Brock Purdy, the thing that I would rather compare him to is Trent Dilfer. Because Trent Dilfer is the only quarterback that I know that won the Super Bowl with just a defense.
Very
Nothing else but just a defense.
Would
And
you
was just an adequate quarterback.
Would you say Joe Flacco too?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did a bonus.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I had the Rams minus 2.5 over Arizona. They smoked them. Yeah, they beat them 37-14. I had Baltimore in the nightcap, Sunday nightcap, minus 3. They beat the Chargers. And I had the Eagles minus 3. So I went 6-1. My only loss was to Carolina. So I didn't do no college last week.
Carolina is
Let me ask you a question.
dumpster fire.
Real quick, right before we get out of here, guys, because we're getting ready to go. Guys, by the way, again, Fly Like an Eagle with Mitch Coffey coming right up. I believe he starts 7:30.
15.
7:15, 7:30, guys. So we have a few minutes, but make sure you definitely check in. And again, tonight, 9 o'clock, attacking the third. Make sure you check into that. All you Union fans, make sure you check into that as well. Real quick, Frank Wright, do the Eagles bring him
back?
Well, I hear there's real serious talk about bringing him in as a consultant, an offensive consultant. So now you don't
know, man.
You don't want him? What about you?
I
would bring him back in a heartbeat because he won a Super Bowl. Dude knows how to coach offense.
You know who I'd bring back as a consultant, or more than a consultant?
Who?
Mr. Deuce Stanley.
Deuce Staley's a good one.
Yeah.
I think Deuce got shafted off the OC job to begin with. And I'm sorry, but all the criticism that Brian Johnson's getting, I'm not saying Brian Johnson is completely at fault. But I would have liked to have seen what Deuce could do.
Same here. I want to see Deuce. But
Same here.
here's the thing. Deuce also had the OC job down there. He was also the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. So, guys, listen. It's been a fun hour, man. We really got through this pretty quick, man.
Yeah, it went by quick.
So, again,
Hey, if you want to go watch the Eagles on Sunday, go to Dolan's, 24 East Sellers Avenue.
yes, you
Ridley
never know.
Park.
Yes, you never know who you're going to run into there. Like Joe may end up being there, or I may end up being there. James too. James might show up, or there could be some really, really cool, famous people. You never know who's going to show up at Dolan's. Again, 23 Sellers Avenue.
Probably Bert Kirshner will be there somehow the weekend.
There you go.
You
Well,
might think you could, but
So, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the locker room here this week. So, for James Scorza, Joey Marks, I am Mike Laura. We will see you guys next week, guys. I will see you guys Saturday night. Clear the ice. I will be doing that, and also this Sunday morning, along with my boneheaded partner Pat Bernard, I will be here for them in the AM. So, guys, have a good night. And again, coming right up. Coming up next is
Fly Like
Fly Like an Eagle. Mitch Kopsky. Make sure you tune into that, guys. Mitch will have getting ready for this big San Francisco matchup. We'll see you then.
go Seaman.
Go Birds and go Dogs.